In the last video, I was quoting from an article that said de Vere thought of himself as the royal consort Edward VII, but I didn't clarify that if there was anything to the Prince Tutor theory, it was either he was Elizabeth's son or had a relationship, not both. I just want to be clear on that, and for the rest of the video, if I refer to Edward de Vere as Edward VII, I'm speaking in terms of his prince or king's number, as a possible son of the Queen, nothing more. I enjoyed the film Anonymous, but the reveal by Robert Cecil at the end was something I could have done without. Moving along. The answer to the Sonnets double towel, as well as the name of a certain organization, is found in the book of Job. I'm going to be referring to some things I've already gone over in previous videos. To understand what it is I'm talking about, the links are below. There's a lot encoded within the last 3 chapters of Job, some of which I've already explained. The story is about a man who, despite the trials of his life, never renounces his faith in God. De Vere may have related himself to Job, which is why so much is found in chapters 40, 41, and 42. De Vere's code number was 40, and there are codes in that chapter. I want to get to the double towel, so pause the video if you want to view this. In every video, I give examples of something that's meant to be read as if it were Hebrew from right to left. The people involved were Kabbalists and used Latin, Greek, and Hebrew as stated by John D. in Monas Hieroglyphica. 41 read right to left is 14. In the previous video, I showed how the letter H or eta can be read as an E because in classical Greek it represented the long vowel E. Lowercase eta is drawn like a letter N and can also be read as an E. 41 read as if Hebrew is 14. When 14 is spelled out, the lowercase eta is E. So by using Hebrew and Greek, it reads 4T or 40, again de Vere's code number. After the chapter title, count the lines. Line 14, or 40, just like with the chapter title, has the words forever. Ever is an anagram of Vere, and is also an abbreviation for E Vere. 14 is read as 40, so we have 40 for E Vere. Now this is a palindrome. 4 in Dutch and German is Vere, but look above it, to thee. When the H or eta is read like an E, this is read as 2T, which is 2 letter T's. Below the number 4 is again the word thee. Read the H like an E, and this reads 4T, or 40, de Vere's code number. So from top to bottom, this reads 2T, 4T, forever, translated as 2T's, 40, for E Vere. To confirm this, read it the other way like a palindrome from the last line up. Ever, 4T, 4T2, translated E Vere, 40, 42. So what's 42? With a repeated count, 42 equals 2 T's, or double tau, which appears on the cover of the Sonnets, the dedication, and in the verse. So by reading this one way, it's 2T, 40, 4 E Vere, and the other way, it's E Vere, 40, 42, which equals 2 T's. Either way, it's the same message telling us that Edward de Vere is 4T and the double tau, the 2-letter T initials of the Sonnets. Notice also next to the number 4 or Vere the word will, an obvious allusion to Shakespeare. From 2 T's we get 4 T's. The left is from the Shakespeare Memorial in Stratford. It's an upright T and a T on its side for TH, Templum Hierosolima. TH can also be drawn as it is on the right, giving us an upside-down hidden 4th T as shown by Alexander Waugh. When the dedication is deciphered, it reads, "These sonnets all by ever the 4th T." We know that Edward de Vere is 40 and the 4th T, and the 2 T's are referring to him. Now it's been proposed by Alexander Waugh that de Vere may have been part of a proto-Masonic group. I agree, including people like John Dee and Francis Bacon. With the repeated count, 2 T's are equal to 42. Read like Hebrew from right to left, 42 is 24, which equals AA. Those 2 letters, AA, are found in the headpiece at the beginning of the Sonnets. So there's a double tau on the cover and double A on page 1. Numerically, their numbers are opposites. Symbolically, they're opposites as well. They can be understood in Hebrew and Greek as Aleph, Alpha, and Tau, Omega, or first and last. The Hebrew Tav and Greek Omega are different characters, but conceptually they mean last, which is why Tau, the symbol of the cross, is used to illustrate it. Something I'm trying to sort out is, we know that the 2 T's on the Sonnets are for de Vere, with the repeated count 42. Read right to left like Hebrew, we get 24, the double A headpiece on the Sonnet's first page. In French, 2 is de, and in Dutch and German, 4 is Vere, de Vere. So there's an alpha and omega definition for these letters, double A and double T. And there's a possible de Vere interpretation as well. Maybe it's both. It's my understanding that the two A's are for Apollo and Athena, the divine spear shakers, to quote an article, and it's a Bacon thing. I don't know. But there was a group or secret order behind the publishing of the Sonnets in First Folio and editing of the King James Bible. In chapter 42, we find the name of the group. Remember, 42 equals 2 T's, the double tau. Because of the n lowercase eta, 14 can be pronounced as 40, de Vere's code number. On line 14 or 40, we get this acrostic. Twice 11 brethren. It even rhymes. I believe this is the group or secret society that Edward de Vere, John Dee, and Francis Bacon had started or are members of. What does it mean? Twice 11, or 2 times 11, is 22. The 22nd letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Tav, and Greek and Latin tau, drawn like a T or cross. So twice 11 brethren means brothers of the cross. I have no idea how this organization might have been structured. Ron Raphael suggested that the group may have had a mathematical, literary, and scientific master, Dee, Oxford, and Bacon respectively. I'm wondering if de Vere founded the group, or if the twice 11 was just one branch. See, with Gematria, the letter L equals 11. 2 11s, or twice 11, is then LL. With the repeated count, LL equals 34. And just like with the double A and double tau, with 24 right to left being 42, 34 right to left is 43, equaling VV, de Vere's double V initials. In Monas Hieroglyphica, Dee explains how these letters, 2 L's and 2 V's, make a cross drawn as an X and a T. With Gematria, the letter V is equal to 20, 2 V's equal 40, de Vere's code number. Also, L equals 11. 2 L's then can be written as 1111 or twice 11. When we add the numbers for 1111 as 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, it equals 4, or Veer in Dutch and German. I wonder if this was one of the ways, through this understanding of the cross, that de Vere discovered 40 and 4T, or the fourth T. In video 8, I unscrambled the Sonnets byline and got Gold Cross, Rosy Cross, and the pronunciation of Veer in Spanish. Please see the video for details. We know the double tau represents de Vere, and I'm just wondering if there's a relationship between the Rosy and Gold Cross and the two crosses made by the letters LL and VV, and what role, if any, de Vere might have had in it. Everything begins with T or tau. It's a symbol of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection, and unlocks the Sonnets dedication as discovered by Alexander Waugh. The Hebrew Tav is equal to 22, or twice 11, giving us a name for the group. The cross can be made of 2 V's and 2 L's, with Gematria 40 and 4T, and did this understanding somehow lead to the Rosy Cross and the Gold Cross? Whether or not that's the case, I've always found it interesting that, using Kabbalist Tamura, 4T's, a name used for de Vere, can be read as F Rosy T, abbreviation for Fratris Rosicrucis, or Brothers of the Rosy Cross. I believe the Rosicrucians and the twice 11 brethren were one and the same, the former possibly evolving from the latter. Edward de Vere was a member and may have had a role in its founding. In a previous video, I showed that 1740, de Vere's Earl and code number, are found with shaking of a spear in Job chapter 41, or 4T. There's truth in 3s, and there's 2 more to be found in the same chapter. In verse 7, count the words. Fish spears has been hyphenated, making spears the 14th word. Again, 14 written out, the N pronounced as E is 40, so we have 740 spears, de Vere's prince or king number if he thought he was Edward VII. In verse 26, just before the word spear, are 17 characters, so we have 17 spear, de Vere's earl number. In this one chapter, the 3 times spear is used. It's connected to Edward de Vere. Why? Because he was Shakespeare. I went over this in the last video, but there's more to it. On the next page, I read this acrostically as 33 who, 34 is a king. With Gematria, the abbreviated name for Edward, EDWD, equals 33, and 34 right to left is 43, de Vere's double V initials. Translation, Edward who is a king with the 2 V's over is a king, but now I think it's meant to be read differently. The character next to who indicates margin notes, but it kept drawing my attention. Is it asking who is a king? The question starts on line 7. I counted after the margin note beginning with who. Word 14 is king. 14 written out is pronounced as FORTIS, so we have 7 FORTI king. De Vere's king and code number. I thought if there's anything to the hypothesis that De Vere was a king, specifically Edward the Seventh, and with all the other codes in the Bible, surely there'd be something in one of the books of Kings. And there is, right where I expected. Second Book of Kings, chapter 7, verse 17. Verse 17 begins on the 17th line. Count the letters. A, N, D, T is the 4th letter, beginning the word the. H is eta, and in classical Greek pronounced like E, so we have 17 for T. Then the word king. So in the Second Book of Kings, chapter 7, De Vere's king number, there's 17 for T king, right where one would expect to find it. Do the codes in the King James Bible add weight to the Prince Tutor theory? I think they help answer the Shakespeare authorship question, but you can decide. More interesting to me is the palindrome, because it tells us that double tal and 40 are Edward de Vere. Also, we have a name for the group he was a part of that became the Rosicrucians of the early 17th century. I did a quick search on the internet, but didn't see anything about a twice 11 brethren. That's why I think it may have been the group before the Rosicrucians. It all centers around T, the tau. The letter that unlocks the dedication gives us the double tau and the 4th T, and the symbol at the heart of the Christian mystery. And that's it. Thank you for watching.